Oh, hello. Hello, everyone. We're going to start July's training. Here is Jen.
Good morning, everybody. I know we have lots of people that are still on their way, but thank you for coming and being a part of our training today. I know for a lot of us that the summer has seemed kind of like a lot of different emotions. It's been hot and it's been slower for some of us. It's been really exciting for some of us because we've started. So hopefully today you will leave inspired and refreshed and have some more information about Plexus and feel more confident in going forward. But I want to open us up in prayer, as we always do. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you and praise you for this day. I just ask that you are in our midst as we share this morning. Bless each of the people that are here and their families and the people that they come into contact with. Thank you for this opportunity of Plexus, and let us just go forth sharing a message of health and healing in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jen Mango, and I am an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I'm about to celebrate my Plexiversary, my one-year Plexiversary with Plexus. I joined July 17th of last year in 2013. In that amount of time, most of you got to pass that fabulous car out there in the front, and that is our new Plexus Lexus, and that is one of the perks of once you have ranked as an Emerald Ambassador, you get to participate in a Lexus program, and so Plexus pays $500 a month for that car, which is awesome. I feel very, very blessed. In addition to that, there goes some product. In addition to that, for my seasoned ambassadors, you know that we have also earned a trip to Maui in September that Plexus will be paying for. So that's very exciting. We're looking at booking our tickets this week, so I'm very excited about that. What can I say about me? Because I know Phil always wants me to give a little bit of.
Where were you and where are you at?
So where I was last spring, which had been a lot of my adult life, is that I had always struggled with my weight. I would balloon and then come back down and then get back up and do the whole roller coaster weight loss thing. And I found Plexus from a friend of mine who had started. And in the 8 weeks of time that I had hired a nutritionist and lost and gained 10 pounds twice, she had lost 40 pounds of Plexus. And so that caught my eye. Very quickly, we as a couple decided that Plexus was going to work for both of us. We liked the taste. It was really easy. It helped with a lot of things internally that we could see then benefit us on the outside. Bill had plantar fasciitis that very quickly disappeared. No PMS symptoms from some pretty severe ones. Phil can attest to. My children take the products up. I went from a size 12 to a 6'8" in about 9 weeks. Phil lost weight, multiple inches. Our children are all on the products. They have all of them respectively have different health issues. My 13-year-old suffers from asthma and allergies. This is the first year that he was not on steroids or had to go to the emergency room. So that was a huge, huge, huge benefit of seeing him on just the Slim alone, the drink. In addition, my 8-year-old has celiac. She was having chronic flare-ups with her celiac disease, and she has since not had. She's had maybe one flare-up in the 10 or 11 months that she's been on the Slim alone. We also have her on the probiotic. And then our 11-year-old has had a myriad of learning and sensory disorder kind of issues, and we have had her on the product, and we have seen benefit in terms of her curbed appetite, increased energy, and just in general her focus and her mood. So we have seen kind of the gamut in our own family as an example that it's not just about weight loss. For most of us, we think Plexus Slim. Slim sounds like it's for weight loss. So we have greatly, greatly benefited from Plexus, and that's a little bit about me. I feel off today, guys. I'm so sorry. Announcements. Phil, you want to help me with the announcements?
Yeah, I'll step up with you. Don't move. Stay right there.
I want to be like Vanna White, where she cuts off half, or what is it? The weather people, they cut off half their body in the camera.
Stand to the side.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta stand like this. Okay, so real quick, June results for our team. Still fantastic. Not as good as previous months, but we're very thankful. We had 84 new ambassadors join, and we did over $140,000 in PV. which is, again, yeah, well, I'll clap for that. It was really good job. And everyone else really appreciate it.
Yay, good job, guys.
Excellent job. And we have bigger and better goals we'll talk about for July. Jen's going to be doing, along with some of your teammates, a new call. And it's going to be called, Now That I Am New, What Do I Do?
How many of you have struggled when you have a new ambassador? Have you realized that when you, some people, you have already a relationship with them, and it's real easy to say, okay, now this is what you're going to do. But for a lot of your situations, when you have a new ambassador, it's like, okay, now what? And we have some things in place. We have a lot of great resources in place to take advantage of. But what we would like to see happen is we're just going to step it up another notch and provide a weekly or bi-weekly call that you're going to be able to direct your new ambassadors to say, hey, this is a call that my team offers. It's going to be 15 to 20 minutes long. It's going to kind of guide you. And the cool thing is, guys, is that some people are going to say, wow, the posting really spoke to me when they talked about the posting. And then somebody else is going to say, that information about how to get into my back office helped me. And then they can come back to you as their sponsoring ambassador and say, I didn't really get the comp plan. Can you go over that with me more? But then you're not feeling responsible to give the same information every single time. Now, that doesn't mean that the onus is off of you and you now have a break and go, okay, I'm going to wait on this new training call. This is just going to be an added opportunity for you to feel like you don't miss the boat with some of your ambassadors that it may be harder to connect with.
Good. So be excited about that. And we had some promotions last month. Anyone in this room promote themselves either from ambassador to silver?
Who went
Anyone?
silver in June? Anybody went silver in June?
Anyone?
In this room?
Anyone? I feel like I'm a pastor looking for an altar call right now.
Everyone bow your head.
Bow your heads. Just looking for that one hand. Okay. Well, someone was promoted, and she happens to be late, so we're going to wait on announcing her.
Yes, she's not
even
late.
Though that goes against every fiber of my being. Anyhow, September training.
Well, and we have September training. There is a July training at the Lexus dealership this coming Thursday night. I believe you needed to RSVP if you were going. I will double check on that and repost Rainey's team. Yes. It's at 6 p.m. this Thursday night at the Plexus Lexus. I go with the Plexus Lexus dealership now. It just kind of rolls off your tongue. The Plano Lexus
Park
dealership.
Place Lexus.
Park Place
in
Lexus,
Plano.
yes. So be watching on our team page for information on that. But then also,
So we'll have an August training.
there'll be an August training.
And then our September training, so mark your calendar, September the 4th, which is a Thursday night, I believe, at 6 p.m. We'll do our team training in September at the Park Place dealership. So want as many people there as possible. And a real quick side note, I've never bought a car from Park Place. And by the way, after this, if y'all want details on how it all worked, I'll gladly share with you individually. But the contact there, Darren Wagoner.
Phenomenal.
I bought cars from many different places, but this is my first experience with Park Place, and I will never go anywhere else. Unbelievable. So anyway, big plug to him.
And he does manage all of the Plexus people, and if you went to another salesperson at that same dealership, you will not get the same deal.
Right.
So just be aware, because somebody did do that, and they spend $100 more a month on their car.
So anyway. All right, Leaders Retreat.
Who's excited about Leaders Retreat?
Come on.
Good. Excited. Hi, Sammy.
So I'll say this. Jen started, like she said, July the 17th of last year, and this same contest was going on. So she started a week from now, and this contest has been going on. It'll be for 6 weeks. She still qualified for the hotel and going to the Leaders Retreat last year.
That means
So,
every one of you can do this.
No matter if you already got a head start,
Right.
because you're already enrolled in doing it.
Y'all already got some points. Everybody getting those their Wednesday nights after, it's kind of coming now crazy, but Wednesdays when you get an email from Chris Pike, that is your points. Pay attention to that. Your June PV will be added
On the
this
15th.
week.
Right.
So your June PV, so if you had over $1,000 in PV, then you're going to have 100 points show up in your bank account for convention points this Wednesday. So that's exciting. Yeah. Woohoo is right.
So it only takes 700 points to get the hotel room, and then everything goes up from there. We qualified for the hotel room last year.
Yes, we did.
We happened to be going to Cabo instead, so we missed it. but
and Abby,
we earned it.
did you tell me? Oh, at Leaders Retreat, guys, you want to be at Leaders Retreat. That definitely sets you apart in terms of we have over 200,000 ambassadors in our company. If 2,200, 2,500, 3,000 people are going to Leaders Retreat, that means you're at the top 10% of the company. That will really substantiate not only for yourself, but
top 1%. But that's just math.
Whatever.
It's
yeah,
silly.
It's just math. Exactly. That's why I have you.
And I speak of it, right?
Yes, and I speak of it. Unless I have a calculator. Anyway, it's really, really important, and it's a great way to connect and then propel your business through the fall and winter.
All right. Is there anyone here that has kids at Allen Elementary? One, like just one. Okay. So for anyone else that's watching.
Yes. Anyone else that's interested, Allen Elementary has presented an opportunity to flex this to our team. I will open it up, certainly to other ambassadors outside of Allen Elementary, but I know we have a lot of ambassadors there. They would like for us to sponsor their upcoming fundraiser, to be a corporate sponsorship. So if you are interested, please private message me, and I can give you details about that. We'll make a decision moving forward. Okay, I'll do the next part.
Okay, cool.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce one of our team members to you. Some of you, hi, Minnie. Some of you know her, and some of you don't, so I'm thrilled for you to get to hear a little bit of her heart and a little bit of her story. But Melissa Martin and I go back all the way to, really, I was in 8th grade and she was in 7th grade when we met, which is a very long time ago. But Melissa and her family, no, not that one really, actually. Melissa has 4 children. They just recently have purchased their second home out at Lake Kiowa, has 4 kiddos. We have reconnected our friendship after many years of just kind of passing here and there through our parents and through random, really, interactions. Yes, but so thankful for that. Has been one of the biggest gifts with Plexus is their friendships that you will establish and develop with new people as well as with old relationships. So Melissa is going to share a little bit with us this morning. Thank you.
All right, so this morning I came across a joke, and I want to share it with you because I think it really demonstrates some of the principles that we go through as ambassadors, but also just people trying to get as healthy as we possibly can be. And I want to make the joke personal, so I'm going to use Jen Mango's name. Okay?
Not only is her dog named Jen.
Okay, so anything said about Jen in this joke does not necessarily reflect my opinions, okay? That's my little viewer advisory up front. So you know, Jen's lost a lot of weight, so she decides that she's going to go look through her wardrobe, and she's going to take out, you know, all those old clothes that don't fit. She goes to Phil, she says, look, baby, it is out with the old, in with the new. Get your this week to reconnect to that vision. I know for June was a little bit slower for me than what I anticipated. I know there's a couple of people in here that are feeling maybe the same way. So I really encourage you to really reconnect and make your goals personal. I did not realize this about myself until probably 6 weeks ago. I had these goals, and I was like, man, I'm not hitting any of my goals. And you know what? They were not personal goals for me. They were goals based on what I had seen other people do, okay? Your goals are based on you and who God created you to be, okay? It's not who gets there the fastest. It's who stays with it and continues with it, okay? And so I just want to encourage you at some point this week, redraw that line in the sand. I made a post on my Facebook this week, and it was basically that it's not plexus, okay? Kind of is, right? But what it really is it's that determination, it's that line in the sand that's going to get you to where you want to be. So I'm talking to myself a lot this morning, but I'm also hoping that some of you guys will connect with this. Just a little bit of briefly my story before Plexus. In 2010, my youngest baby was 2 years old. Okay, so he was walking, he was talking, he was not a newborn. And I had someone ask me when I was expecting baby number 5, okay? So that was almost 4 years ago, not quite 4 years ago, about 3.5. I've had in my own health journey ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. What I'm the most proud of is not necessarily what my lowest weight has been over the past 3.5 years. What I'm most proud of is that I'm still in the game. And so I just really want to encourage you guys on that, and I just hope you'll take some time this week to reconnect to what your original goal and your original vision is.
Oh, something's happening. Control room.
Ignore.
I did not touch it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Told you. And each of us, that there was a different thing, there was a different reason why we started, and then even bigger than that, there's been multiple things that have come out of it that have benefited us each personally. So I thought it would be fun. It's going to be a little tricky, but we're going to start.
I think it's working now, so just keep going.
Start with Stacy. We'll go pretty quickly. I want you to say one word, a benefit. It can be a benefit financially, health-wise, friendship-wise. You kind of have free reign, but once you hear your word, you can't repeat the word. So we're not going to have
freedom.
Angie, sleep.
Freedom. I said freedom.
Yeah, no.
So it's not.
Get off the table. So be creative. Think a lot about what your Plexus journey has done for you. And if you have not started Plexus yet and you're in this room, then give us maybe one word of what entices you about Plexus to get you, that's encouraging you to start your journey. Okay, Stacy, go. Confidence, of course. She has no voice. Mood.
Sexy.
Whoa! Melissa.
Took my word.
You said freedom.
Yeah, I know.
Energy.
Katie. Mom.
Got one word?
She's like, what
Come
was
back,
it?
come back to her. Come back to her. Subi.
Money.
Erica.
Friendship.
Okay, I'm jumping to Dorothy.
Reconnect. Joy. Pass.
No. Diane. Tim.
Peace. Connected. Well.
Yes.
Okay, I got written down yesterday.
She checked that still.
I have energy.
Energy. And I'll say opportunity.
Okay.
So see, it got a little bit hard in a room of about 35 or 40 people, but really honestly, and I say this all the time, and I know y'all probably get sick of it, is that just because you haven't met your goals, like Melissa was saying, even if you haven't met your goals, if you're somewhere along your journey, don't hesitate to give the gift to somebody else, because all of these words that are in this room, could we all say that, agree that we want those things? There wasn't one thing that I'd go, no, I'm going to pass on that. Definitely not the sexy. I definitely want that. You want the wealth, you want the health, you want the peace, you want the joy, we want the happiness. So if we got 3 of the 35 things by giving somebody the gift of Plexus, is it worth it? Yes. Just because maybe weight loss wasn't in that vernacular for that one person, is it still worth it? Yes, it is. So okay. We always like to celebrate every single person's ranking within our team. It is a journey, and it's a journey to celebrate. And again, I'll reference Melissa and say that wherever you are, your journey is your own. And so we want to celebrate with you when you're making advances in your ranks. And so for our level 1s, we like to do a little something special, because hitting this level in your rank really does take your business to a new level, and you start feeling like that not every single thing that you do has to necessarily help make your business grow, because then you start seeing your business grow with your team and all the work that you put in. So we would like to recognize Erica Garcia on her rank of senior gold for the month of June. Phil calls her Butta.
Butter.
And the reason why he calls her butter is
She's on a roll.
she's always on a roll.
She's on a roll.
And it's not here anymore. That's right, Skinny Minnie. So here is your present. Thank you for all you do for our team. Yes, would you like to say anything to your audience?
Well, hi
And
guys.
your team.
I'm hoping that there's some Team Garcia people on there watching. I'm not sure. I haven't checked my Facebook to see yet, but I couldn't have gotten to this level without y'all, and without your friendship and everybody in this room. Actually. So thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so I was going to say, over the last few weeks, I was doing some research, so it was a little bit slower, so we had more time to do things like that. And we were with Melissa and her husband over the 4th of July. We had a great time, and we were just talking about business and had some time to reflect on the past year. And one of the things that Jen and I realized is Melissa was saying, well, what are the keys to success? How do you build your team the right way? And as we've reflected over the last 12 months, this is, I can't necessarily verify this with 100% certainty, but about 97% certainty. Every single person that's gotten to the level of Emerald or above had a month where they got anywhere between 4,000 or greater in PV. So think about that for a second. If you haven't done that, that doesn't mean you won't get to Emerald. But I can say with literally 100% certainty that every single person that's had a big month in their first few months of at least $4,000 to $5,000 in PV has used that to accelerate their growth and go to whole new levels. Now, here's the question: how does that correlate? Well, it's pretty simple. When you're actively getting customers, those customers become satisfied and then become ambassadors. And they're people who have used the product with success, and those become the best ambassadors. People who are walking, talking testimonies, who can share it with anyone because they've had that same success. So, if you're discouraged this morning because you hear that, like, well, I haven't had a $4,000 month, I might as well quit right now. Don't. Because anyone, you can hit the reset button and say, this month especially, we want everyone to be very customer focused. Did anyone see the financials that posted already? Yeah. So the pay points, when we started, Jen's first month pay points were $3.77. This month they're $2.93. It's the first time it dropped below $3. $2.93. Now, the way pay points are calculated are based on everyone's PV. So a $200 PV, so every single person who's active that does $200 would mean a $3.80 pay point. So if you do the math, it means roughly that everyone's doing, on average, across the company, around $125, $130 a month in PV. Now, on our team, just so you know, our average is around $226. So we're above the average, we're where we should be, and that's fantastic. It's a great job. That's worth around a point. I appreciate that. So the problem that you get if you want to, not that I want to study economics and supply-demand curves and the law of diminishing returns, all those things that no one wants to listen about on a Saturday morning. But as we grow and we get larger and larger, it'll get more and more difficult to get to that number unless every single person has this focus of customer first, ambassador second. And I'm telling you, in Jen's first full month of selling, second full month, it wasn't the first, second full month of selling, so her third month in, this would have been in September, was her largest PV month, and it was, yeah, $44,250. So she never broke 5,000, and there are people in this room who have. So that propelled you because a lot of those first customers, Erica Garcia, Phil Mango.
Well, there's many people in this room even that were customers first.
Who became ambassadors who are growing. Go ahead.
Well, I want to reiterate because I know women's brains and Phil doesn't. But y'all are all sitting there and it is swirling like, well, okay, so I've been doing this for 10 months. I've been doing this for 6 months, and I've never had anywhere near that level of PV. But I want to remind you of something. We have been very focused when we have sat down, even me. I have been guilty to sit down with you and say, if you want to see this grow, you have to have ambassadors, right? I know some of y'all can attest that I've sat and had that conversation with you. So we're kind of stepping back today and saying we're reevaluating the way that we're going to train moving forward. We're really, because we're seeing that this really does make sense and it really does follow a trend or a pattern, to, as hard as it is to focus on your customer relationships, qualifying people before they go, wait a second, I just want to sign up. It's $34.95 and then I'll get the wholesale. Remind them that on their 4th month as a preferred customer, they're going to get wholesale without putting that $35 up front. Abigail and I were talking this morning, and you're going to get to hear from her in just a second, that think about the relationship that you have with that person. Is that person never around new people? Do they have a good ability? Do they have the ability to social network? You have to think about them and set them up for success, because if you go, oh yeah, it's going to work just like it's worked for me, and you have 200 friends on Facebook and I have 2,000, it's not. And what's going to happen as a good leader and as a good sponsoring ambassador, your job is then to help that that person facilitate those relationships and those sales. So it's going to be more work on you as well. Whereas if you start with a preferred customer and they start shedding weight or they start having a great health testimony and they feel like my sister wants to do this and my husband wants to start and we got this person, then it's a natural thing to go, okay, well, guess what? It's time to jump on board, and this is what you're going to get to benefit from. Even if they're a current customer, I know we have a lot, well, then they're going to have extra product. How many of us realize we're always running out of product and we need extra product when we don't have it, especially at the beginning when you're sharing and you're giving samples out? So be encouraged. Know that this is a reset time. Know that we are available, Phil and I are available to you to help you come up with a new game plan if you have had a different one. And to see that we're coming again, you know, and we can always spin things one way or another. But we're in the middle of summer, but we're about to go back to school in about 6 weeks. I'm about to post something on Monday to say, do you want to look different? Do you want to look different for all those people, those, you know, to the moms out there? How would it feel to go back to school 10 pounds lighter after somebody hasn't seen you all summer? Let's start now. You know, find marketing niches and ways to really get people out there to try things. We talk about incentives. You know, if you have 3 bags of 96 in your cupboard at home, offer an incentive to say, I'm going to bring you or send you a sample of our protein shake for every customer order I get this week. Be creative. Think about that. If you need our help, again, we'll help you with that. What's going to happen is, like Phil said, is you're going to take those customers and you're very quickly going to turn them into ambassadors, but even quicker than that, you're going to see the benefit of that and not just having an ambassador that's running a white line or right at $100. You're going to have somebody that's ready to go because they've caught on to the vision and watched you for several months. And they've not been as stressed to build a business, but they're ready at the moment. So we gave you guys this little form, there was a handout, how to make $500 or $1,000 with Plexus. I've had several conversations. Huh? I'm just referencing this. I'm not going to go through it until you come back. Several of you had talked about, gosh, I wish I could show somebody how the benefit of them joining when you're having that conversation. So let's say they're a happy customer. They're like, well, what am I really going to make, or what could I expect to make? This is a great little handout, and Phil's going to break it down for us in just a few minutes when he gets off the phone with his dad, who's probably apparently lost. Taking him to hockey. But this is, so if you notice at the bottom of this paper, it says Plexus Power Tools. I posted this, Beverly posted this, Stacy posted this, Melissa, I think you might have posted this. I might be missing somebody else. Erica posted this. Plexus Power Tools is a website that it was created by PC Christopher, who is on Celeste Wynn's team. Everything has been run through compliance. He has done an excellent job over the last 6 or 8 months of creating this website with a wealth of resources for us to access. It does cost $10 to join for the year, but honestly, for as many thousands of us that are out there, and he updates documents as things change. So if Plexus sends something out, he goes into every document and he updates it, and then he sends you an alert and says, I've changed this document, and this document. It is an excellent resource. When we talk about duplication and that the easier it is to grow your team, the faster you'll grow your team, the easier it is to duplicate what you're doing, this is a perfect example of duplication at work. If we know that I've given this out to all my level 1s and they're giving this out to all their level 1s, we're not, somebody 3 levels down is not saying, well, you know what? You don't have to sign up for this. You don't have to pay $100 a month. And there's not the chance for miscommunication to happen as easily. So access that, guys. It's super easy. We have been watching it and just dragging our feet, and I joined on Friday and have downloaded a bunch of information. Once you download it, you have access to it, but it really would behoove you to all of you to join. So that's where this came from. But what I love from this reference is that when we talk about, we're saying, okay, customer base, customer base, customer base, how many of you feel like you've exhausted your customer base? I'm going to put my hand up. I know Erica's got her hand up. Yes. If you've been with us for a while, you feel like, I have no one else to talk to Plexus about. And anybody else seen it? Have seen my post for a year? I don't think that they're interested. So that's why we printed the second sheet, which is finding prospects. This frame. Eric Worre, those of you who are familiar with Eric Worre, he refers to his as a memory jogger, talking about writing down every single person that you could, it's real easy when you start because you're like, my mom needs to lose weight, and her sister needs to lose weight, and this person needs to lose weight. But when you're in it for a while, you really do need to take out the I think they need to lose weight statement out of your brain and look at Plexus as a whole product. And again, a lot of times there's a lot of secrets that are kept from all of us, right? In our family most of all, but amongst friends, there are things always that I know in my lifetime I've been like, I would have never thought. So everybody has their dirty little secret their closet full of dirty little secrets, and a lot of times health issues are hiding in those. So if you take I suppose or I assume that this person has this, and just list out friends, list out people from church, list high school people, go through your Facebook page, use these references that he uses here, relatives, acquaintances, your neighbors, your kids' connections, service organizations, list out all those people, but then think about, even broader than that, who those people could get you in front of, or who you can access through them. And then again, this is not manipulative. This is not I'm coming after you with like shark eyes and the cheesy car salesman guy like I see you for dollar signs. But this is who else can I help? Becky Gibson, who's not here today, always says she gives out 3 business cards to every person that she meets and comes across, and she says, "Here's one for you, but I would really appreciate it even more if you'd give these 2 away." That's a great way to extend your influence very easily in the moment without extra work. And who knows where you're going to fall. What would you like to say?
No, you're doing a great
You're
job.
like looking at me like,
No, I mean, as it relates to that, like when you're talking about exhausting your resources, we were at the Rough Riders game last night, and we're sitting there, thanks to Park Place giving us free tickets.
yes, another perk.
Another perk of that, and we're sitting there enjoying ourselves, relaxing, and this girl in front of us, probably 20-something,
24.
Fresh out of school.
Baby.
Not we all think. Fresh out of school, and she just keeps turning and talking to Jen. And, we're not being very social, but we're like, yeah, cool.
We're sweating.
Yeah, it's
I
hot.
don't sweat well.
But this girl's, the interesting thing
Anyhow.
was, this girl's mom was sitting one row in front, and she was animate, and yelling at the batters and trying to get freebies.
And she did. She got a free shirt. She got pictured with a player.
And Jen
got a
sits there and
ball.
she goes, I want that woman as an ambassador right now.
And I said it loud.
She said it loud. So she turns back around and she's like, well, what do you do? So Jen opens it up, talks about Plexus. She's like, well, I'm looking to be a teacher.
And I go, well.
Well, we just happen to know one of the best principals in all of Frisco. If you're looking for a job, you need to come here this morning. She didn't show up, but the whole point was that she got Jen's business card. She connected to her on Facebook. She was like, teachers are always looking for extra income. And it was a perfect entree. So the whole point was
She was super cute.
you cannot let your presumptions about who would be good and who wouldn't be good as to who
And
really
don't miss
is.
the opportunity.
Yeah, miss the
Don't
opportunity.
miss the opportunity was even the bigger thing.
Yeah.
And then I took it a step further and I go, I didn't have my phone, y'all. This is like crazy, but I did not have my phone at the game. So I'm like, I don't have my phone. But would you please friend me on Facebook? Because I said that's the best way you'll know then, and I will remember if I see your name pop up, I will connect you to Miss Woodson, Miss Beverly for her job. But then I said I would love to talk to your mom. She goes, well, I know teachers always need to make extra income. So even the way that I set up the conversation, like I'm not even putting the pressure on you for the Plexus. But then we told her, my kids are like, my mom has one of those because the Lexus kept popping up on the screen. They're like, hey, she got it from Plexus. She was like, well, I want to know about it. So it created this dynamic that generated a lead for me, which is awesome. And every day should look like that. I do want to reference the top of this. Y'all saw my post this week. Some of you saw my post about tagging people, and that does not mean tagging people in pictures. Like if we're at an event and you put me in your picture, I'd love that. That's awesome. And I want to be tagged when new people join. But tagging me tagging 50 people that are Plexus friends and tagging every single one of those and saying, tell me your story, I do not think is beneficial. I don't think it's beneficial for your business, which is most important to you. It's not a good use of your time. I don't think that realistically most of our friends are going through our Plexus posts and then reading each person's story. And then the people that you're tagging on that end, then you're creating a situation where they need to respond to you immediately. And then if they don't respond, then you're like, well, are they mad at me, or do they not like me, or that person's really rude, or. And if I spent my whole day responding to tags, that's not an effective use of my business to grow my business personally. My biggest responsibility is 1 to my customers and 2 to you, to my direct ambassadors. And there's a list of things here that he lists that are not business developing, and yet we can spend lots of our time surfing Facebook, talking about things, griping about things, thinking about ways to run your business. But if you're not opening your mouth and sharing with new people, you are not growing your business. End of story. So tough love, but needs to be said because I do love y'all. All right.
When Diamond Ambassador video, I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to watch. I'm sure everybody had an opportunity to watch it. But she said that I used to meet those people, the crazy multi-level marketing people. And she's like, I see my paycheck, and I'm totally okay with being the crazy.
Completely.
Yes. And that is okay. Posting and making sure that you're marketing and branding yourself is an important thing, because as we know in this area, you're going to have a lot of people go, well, I've heard about Plexus and I've seen it, but I have had time after time after time, people come to me and go, but I kept seeing your posts, so I thought you had been doing it like the longest, or I thought you were doing this. That visibility is crucial. So yes, Jackie, and yes, nobody else is paying me the paycheck that I'm making now, so I will gladly keep pimping myself out on Plexus.
So we're going to finish the top plan. I'll finish the top plan, and I'll do that stuff back here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Do that. And then we'll
Right
finish
now?
the top plan.
Okay.
Yep.
At this time, yeah, you guys stop knitting. Stop. You guys say whatever you want to say. Just listen to what I say, and then you can run off of it. Okay, so again, like y'all hear me say, like, this company is so awesome. The opportunities to build friendships is incredible. And one of my biggest gifts has been Abigail Cantor, who is she's a level 1 for Celeste. She, in her own right, has been an incredibly successful ambassador. When is your anniversary? Oh, just passed, June 30th, right? So she's been with Plexus just a bit over a year. She's like a hair away from turning emerald. So we've got our fingers and our toes crossed and everything for this month for her. But most of you are familiar with her because she runs that huge page, that's like 20-something thousand people for the MS and autoimmune disease group for Facebook. So she has an incredible health testimony, but bigger than that, she's very well educated on the products. We were going to do a health spotlight or product spotlight today on X Factor, but she says that she knows most about the nerve health and fast relief used together, which I said would be a total gift for all of us to hear about this morning, and so I've asked her to share just a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, I have to preface, I did have a root canal yesterday, so if I'm talking funny, it's half my face is still kind of swollen and numb. So yes, I have MS. I was diagnosed in 2008. Prior to that, I was never overweight, and unfortunately went from like 60 to 0 on being sedentary. Over 5 years, I gained a lot of weight and tried all sorts of things, and at the end of it all, nothing really worked, and I was fortunate to have Celeste Gwen as a friend. Our daughters do theater together, and so here's another thing that we all should do. She wore her Plexus t-shirt every day to rehearsal, and it said 1 pink drink a day melts the fat away. So after 2 months of seeing that t-shirt, it took me 2 months of finally saying, okay, I'm desperate. What is this pink drink? I tried it, and I said, I have to see how my body reacts because I'm very sensitive just to foods. I follow the autoimmune protocol for paleo, which is as rigid a diet as it gets, because one of my MS symptoms is food sensitivity. So that being said, I tried a 7-day sample. On day 3, I'd lost 3 pounds. I had no negative side effects. My husband said, you look thinner today, and I signed up that day, and I never looked back. And like so many of us, I didn't really have intention of selling Plexus. I figured that if I could get a few people to join, it would cover the cost of my products, and I'm almost to 500 people on my team. Didn't know how that happened, but it happened. little did I know. So I started for the weight. That was my initial motivation. To date, I've lost 50 pounds, over 50 inches, which is phenomenal. But in the first couple weeks, I started researching our products and had no idea that we actually had products that were created for MS. That's a God thing, because there's plenty of weight loss companies out there that have natural products. We don't have companies out there that have products for MS. And I'm fortunate to have a large network of MS friends, because that's kind of what I did on Facebook. So the Nerve Health Support and the Fast Pain Relief work together. Most of us know the Fast Pain Relief is good for chronic pain, can be used instead of NSAIDs, but Dr. Harris actually created those two for MS. I have a girl on my team who was fortunate to actually be a patient of his 10 years ago. And as she started reading about Plexus and learning about Plexus, she goes, oh my gosh, I actually worked with this doctor. He's phenomenal. I talked to him at convention, and he gave me his email address and said, if you ever have any questions, please email me. I mean, there's not a lot of people out there that would do that. But what people don't realize is the two products work together. A lot of people do the Fast Pain Relief or take the Nerve Health Support. If you have MS, of course, is my specialty, but neuropathy, most autoimmune disease have inflammation underlying, regardless of if it's joints, if it's organs, if it's tissue. Inflammation is present. So the Fast Pain Relief is kind of a misnomer, because what it really is a super-powered anti-inflammatory. That New Zealand green-lipped mussel is a natural anti-inflammatory. So you've got to get that inflammation down for then the Nerve Health Support to do its job. What the Nerve Health does is it stimulates our nerve growth factor to actually rebuild damaged nerve tissue. And there is nothing on the market, OTC or prescription, that does what that product does. Nothing. So we haven't really tapped, I think as Plexus people, we haven't really tapped into that, but that does not exist anywhere. And yes, for me it's MS, but that's people who've had back surgeries, people who've got neuropathy. There's nerve damage with so many people. But again, use the anti-inflammatory first. It's not a quick fix. Nerve, unfortunately, rebuilds at 1 centimeter a month. It's a very slow process. But what I can tell you is a year later, one of my major symptoms with my MS that was a visible symptom, well, visible to the medical field, I had optic neuritis, so I had damage to my optic nerve on both eyes. And it was about 6 weeks ago, maybe, 2 months, I had a in-depth eye exam, which for MS and optic neuritis is about 3 hours of doing all sorts of crazy tests. What my eye doctor saw was there was no damage on my left eye at all, and the right eye damage has improved, and he said my eyes looked healthier than they have in years. So thank you to Nerve Health Support. It's pretty amazing what our products do. Obviously, that's not something people can see, but I'm wearing my contacts again. I haven't worn them in 2 years, which is really, I'm so excited. So that's the MS piece. I'm also off my blood pressure meds, and let me tell you, yesterday, prior to getting my root canal, I ran out of my blood pressure meds, hadn't filled my prescription in a couple days. In the chair, getting ready to get a root canal, my blood pressure was 127/59. That is amazing, because normally you'd think it would be really high. We're in pain, getting ready for them to drill into your tooth, 127/59. So I'm thinking I don't need that other one either. So there you go.
And I didn't mention, and I don't think you did either, that you are an RN.
Yes.
So she knows her stuff, not just as a patient, but definitely from the health industry as well. All right.
So we'll wrap it up. And before we do the wrap and everything else, we'll the comment, and we'll do Q&A and wrap it up.
Okay, you're doing that.
Great. Okay, cool. So, who has never been to this house before? Anyone? Okay. I'll pick on you. How did you get here? I mean, how did you? You rode with someone. Did anyone drive on their own and never been here before? Okay. So how did you figure out how to get here? You put on your phone. So you used Siri and put the address in and followed the directions. Okay. So my example is very simple. Who knows where they want to be in the next 12 months financially? Because you're ambassadors, and I assume it's not just the discount you came here on a Saturday morning. So who knows where they want to be in the next 12 months? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. So, if I were to say to you, all you had to do was Siri,
Yes, let's make it up.
I want to make $12,000 a month in the next 12 months. Okay? And if Siri said, great, routing your destination, would you veer off that path or would you follow it directly? You didn't take a different path when you got here, right? You trusted Siri. So what I'm going to tell you all today is that if you have that vision that we can outline, and it's been outlined, the path to get there, you just have to follow it. And it's this simple. Posting twice a day on Facebook. Religiously, I'd say twice a day on Facebook, 3 times on Sunday. Post every day on Facebook.
Monday, that's right.
Now,
Monday's a big day.
make sure one of those posts is personal. And it can be very simple. It doesn't need to be a long 90-page essay on your health testimony, but it might be something along the lines of, I'm having a great time at the ball game and my butt fits in the seat. Thank you, Plexus. Right? Because people will respond to that and go, that's cute. Right? They're not
Remember how big her butt is. That's what they're thinking.
But here's the thing. I'm not preaching at them. I'm just saying, hey, look, I'm happy. Ask me how. I've talked about the guy I met in the airplane. And this week I flew to Boston, and each time I had this time I had 100-pound little women sitting next to me. It was like the greatest flight ever because I had all the room I wanted. But anyhow, I've shared with like, hey, I used to feel the same way, and then I started taking Plexus. Great entree. So post twice a day. This method that Frank, his name's not Frank, but the Frank method is, I read this week, and I've been in sales for 16 years, and I've got every method on the book. I was in an intense sales summit the last 4 days, and I'm sold out. I've heard enough sales pitches to make me want to vomit. But anyway, this is really good. Read through it and follow it. Make that list. Write down all those folks that you know, and share. I mean, I was at Legal Seafoods in Boston. Anybody been to there? Been to Legal Seafoods? Delicious. I had one of the best meals I've had, and I was sharing it with 10 other people I ran into. And that was just a meal. That didn't change my life. It was just a meal. How much has Plexus changed our lives? So we should never feel guilty about sharing it with as many people as possible. Okay. So the first step is write down that goal, where you see yourself in the next 3, 6, and 12 months. And then follow the roadmap here. What I mentioned earlier, I'll tie it all together. Have a customer focus and try and bring on as many preferred customers as you can this next 6 weeks, July and August. Those people will naturally turn into ambassadors, but be very customer focused first. Sell them on the opportunity that you got the 60-day money-back guarantee. And then along the way, if they're ready, let's bring them on as ambassadors. It's going to help us from a pay points perspective. It's also going to help you for the leadership retreat because every preferred customer is worth 5 points. All right? And when you get yourself over 1,000 PV, that's worth 100 points. It only takes 700 points to get the room.
Well, let's just remember too, because you're assuming that they know, and a lot of you do know. But for those of you who don't know, again, we do offer 3 and 7 and then 30-day options for selling products. But because of the 60-day money-back guarantee, I very rarely give anyone the option other than the 30-day. So you've got to give your body time to respond to the product, and what you may see something in 7 days, and be able to jump in like Abigail's situation. And Jackie, we were the same way for those people that have multiple issues that they need to know if they're going to have a sensitivity very quickly to something. But they did not get fat overnight. They did not develop their whatever issue they have overnight for the most part. So we have to expect that it's going to be a journey and it's going to be a process and take time. So that's the number one thing. Then